Okay, evening everybody. Welcome to the July Patchwork Challenge update. As always, we try and get this in the following month after the end of the month, and once again, it's on the 31st of August, so just in time. Going to be a shorter one this time, I imagine, with July being a little bit of a quieter month. So we've got a running order with the best birds found in July and seen in July, a few mini leagues, a little bit of patch gold, bit more mini leagues, something a little bit different, a few more mini leagues, top 10s and September predictions. So it's really all about the mini league updates with a smattering of good birds thrown in. So on to the next one. So first of all, a bit of a no-brainer to start off with this one, really, that we've had a black-winged kite on Tim Hodges' patch. I've got Belvide birding there in terms of the photos, just a few pictures, but there's plenty to choose from. I could have picked from hundreds of pictures of the birds between Horsey and Felixstowe where it went to next, including a couple of very, very distant white blobs, but these are fantastic pictures to go alongside what is a superb bird. The second one, the first twitchable one. I don't know if either of you were tempted.
Not tempted, but I'm well aware that this is Brian's old stomping ground. Perhaps he wants to tell us how he feels about it.
Yeah, no,
No.
no. It was 2 or 3 miles from my old patch. Yeah. So it was very nice, and I've just realised Tim Hodges' tweet on my birthday as well. Even worse.
At least didn't reference it. But yeah, maybe it's been a long-awaited bird, doesn't it? And it really is absolutely stunning.
Oh, they are cracking, aren't they?
So I expect there'll be some more coming in the future. But
yeah,
what a brilliant bird.
Only 5 points for Tim, though. No find.
Yeah, indeed, no
That's
find.
the key. Whereas I think our next bit, I think there's quite a lot of finders points, isn't there, Ryan?
I think there might be stacks. So there's a lot of stuff in there. This is an extract from the Cornwall Birds website, and it's all about Ryan this month in terms of seabird spectacular. So we know the Southwest has had an awesome run in both July and August. So I'll hand over to you, Ryan, to talk a little bit about how it's been. Feel free not to restrict it to July if you want. Just how sea watching been in the Southwest in the last month or two.
Yeah, it's been incredible. I always try to say it's probably a little bit worrying, just why it's all there. But it's been July, early August was just pretty incredible. You know, I remember the first few days where we were getting a few corries, and then I was getting excited. I was trying to get to 100 corries in a day, thinking this is great. And then about 3 days later, I was sat at Porthgwarra on my own. It was the wrong weather conditions, but I live next door, so I go there. Everyone else went to Pendine, and 1,000 went past before 8 o'clock, and then it just kicked off. The next day there was 6,500 went past.
Wow, and that's incredible.
In between all that, so although these aren't my sightings, Barolo, Shearwater, seen about 5 days running. I thought I had it the first day, but it was flying away from me. And then these guys saw it the next day. And then I saw it the day after that. Yeah, it was about 5 days running, I think. It was seen flying past in with the Manxes. Really, really distinctive. I was always worried about seeing one of these, but just stand out so much.
Close views or distant views?
Yeah, no, mine one, the first 3 that I know of were in what we call the Manxie line, which is probably about 800 meters out. So that's very
close as these things go. Yeah.
I think the last sighting a couple of weeks ago was the Runnelstone, which is about a mile out.
Yeah,
so
it's
a bit
pretty
further.
tricky. Yeah. What everyone's dying to ask though is, what date in July did you add Porthgwarra to your patch?
I did check the map earlier on. I did think I'm sure you're St. Buryan, and I thought, how close is that really?
It's
Have we
close
suddenly gone
enough
for a 10-kilometer patch, right? Is that what it is?
It is close enough. Yeah. No, I did maybe tweak the boundaries at some point.
I think that's entire. I'm sure me and Mark said this to you at the beginning of the year. Come July, you're going to be.
The
question was it before or after the Barolo?
Oh, it was before that.
Yeah,
it was before that. It might have been after the Scotland, but no, it was. It was probably in June I started thinking about it because my sea watching point bit further to the east was just getting harder and harder. The vegetation was growing, and because I was the only one walking to it, I ended up getting ripped to bits by bramble and buckthorn and everything like that, and I was just like, this is not fun trying to get here.
Not getting ripped to bits and being at one of the premier sea watching spots in the country, nay, Western Europe. Yeah.
So I decided. Actually, it was I went to a couple of evening sea watches in Porthgwarra, and I met a couple of other local sea watchers, and I just decided, God, this is a lot easier.
Yeah, no,
And it's still within. Yeah, I can do the coastal path from my patch to Porthgwarra, and it still fits in. I had a bit of leeway still to do. I'd realised I hadn't really used it all.
Sea watching is easier in company. I mean, I sea watch alone from my patch, and it's a lot to cover with one pair of eyes, one scope.
Yeah, especially here. But it's incredible. Like this morning, I was basically the only person there. Everyone else went to Pendine. So you can, even though it's Porthgwarra, I'd probably say about 50% of the time I go there, I'm on my own, because people only generally go there if it's perfect conditions. So,
I was going to say people tend to gravitate to Pendine if it's not absolutely bang on. Yeah.
Or just don't bother if it's not.
Yeah.
You talked a little bit about Barolo and being worried about, I guess, not picking it. What was it that made it that distinctive in amongst the Maxes to someone who, for me, is I'm not a good sea watcher particularly.
I think it was the flight, well, size. It was quite noticeable size, but the flight style, it was flying with the really bent wings. So
that sort of common sandpiper sort of that's the
I try
cheesy.
not to say that.
Yeah. But
the first time I saw it, but I didn't nail it. It was flying away from me, and you could see the shape of the wings as it was flying away. Totally different. There was one guy sat next to me, and I was shouting to get onto it. I think I shouted, "The wings are buckled." I think was the word I compared to the Manxes around it. It just really stood out. Then the next time I saw it, it's just very kind of a laboured flight. So all the Manxes were streaming past it. It was like going little clappers, but couldn't keep up.
Yeah. Did you get like the reflective flash on the wings and stuff, or was that
a couple of times in that one when it went at a certain angle, you could see that. But when people talk about like the face and the white and the face,
at that sort of distance, that's mad. I mean,
you could, but the problem I have with that is
subtle.
You can see that in some Manxes as well.
Yeah.
You know, I started grilling all the Manxes. I'm like, this is actually not that uncommon.
Yeah. Let's pull out an Audubon Shearwater instead.
So that was good. The Scotland Shearwater. So we've had a couple putative ones as well, but this one was videoed.
Yeah.
I saw it first, but it was Martin Elliott that really got on, and he was the first one that goes, actually, I think this is, and it just hung around for ages, circling, feeding. This was before the corries really got going, so it was the only bird we saw, the only corries, Scopolis we saw that day, and it just hung around.
Ahead of was this the first record of the whole lot, or was
this was early June. Early July. I can't quite remember the exact date, but it was before. I think it was the first.
There's one
8th of July.
Oh yeah.
Was that a different bird?
No, that is the one. Yeah, 8th of July. Yeah. So it was kind of before.
The
corries came. Yeah, and it was quite a distinctive flight. We got the video. I don't know if we're going to play that later or.
I think just play it after this slide, if that's all right. If you just share that, and then we'll cut back into the presentation. But we'll just.
And I think this slide just gives that example of the sheer variety. But then obviously the numbers escalated considerably after this, didn't they? Probably about a week after.
Yeah.
After the dates here.
Yeah, so I was just having. I picked up from eBird like my stats, and Corrie Shearwater, it's over 17,500. I've seen now of the patch.
That is mad.
Great Shearwater over 600, but I missed 1,700 on my patch this afternoon. In about 3 hours, there's 1,700. Just things like Wilson Storm Petrel, I've seen 12. I was after the first one I saw, I was complaining to Mark and James, probably all of you, about only getting 6 points for it.
Yeah.
I've now seen 12, so maybe I should shut up, or it might go down to 2.
Yeah, I was going to say there was definitely sort of some June. Well, when was that? That first one is that the first one on the 14th of July? You're definitely complaining at that point.
No, I had one in June. Yeah, I had
yeah.
two in June. Yeah.
So definitely at that point you were advocating for an uptick to it to be a 4-pointer and 12 points for you. Now you did quote very briefly to Mark and I how many points you'd accrued and for how many species over the last month, wasn't it? It was something ridiculous.
Since June.
Yeah.
Where is it? Was it to you guys?
It's like 4.5 points per bird or something.
Yeah, it's something quite handy, and it's all just because of the
mad sheer waters.
Where is it? Yeah, so since the beginning of June, 21 species, 4.81 points per species. On
It's
average.
like living at Spurn.
It's not bad, is it, really? Need to send
So,
a few
yeah.
up the East Coast. But that
But I'm
Porthgwarra,
running
I mean, it went past 5 times. Is that really a find? If you didn't have it first day.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you could say that. Still a shock when it flies past.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
genuine
Yeah.
surprise. I think is fair
So,
enough.
and then this in August, I think there's the Fia's petrel's been seen past Porthgwarra about 6 times. I've seen it 3, and
So
the last
what-
twice I've found it. So,
each one's Beers, then the Xenos, then the Deserters. Yeah.
yeah. So it's 49 points.
Yeah, just there, bang.
No, I mean it's we got actually there's a video of that as well. I should dig that one out, shouldn't I?
Yeah, I've seen that the where it's it's got the motion removed, doesn't it? What am I trying to say? Stabilization on it.
Yeah, and it's Mike. So the videos we'll see is Mike McKee, and he's got like professional stabilizing video stuff, and he literally just he says it takes him hours to get it. So he goes through frame by frame. I don't know how he does it, but yeah.
Do you want to cut in and show us a little bit of that then? You just hit the share button.
Okay.
If you're not quite there, I do have one question. If you still need a bit of filling time.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you can ask while we watch. I just realised I don't have the Scopolis video. That's on my phone.
That's all right.
On.
This is a good enough video. I've seen this one.
Yeah, I've seen this.
So this is one of Mike's videos of a Wilson's petrel. I was sat next to him at this point. And this was really close. This was probably 200 meters out, maybe 300. It was pretty close. And it just kept coming closer and closer.
I mean, it's not showing brilliantly over teams, but that's a great bird. No issues with ID on that one anyway.
No, and I would say probably at least half a dozen of the ones I've seen have been that close. And, I think one of the other videos we've got, it's like 4.5 minutes long or something.
It's crazy. I mean, that's how you want to see a species like that.
Yeah.
Fab.
Unfortunately, we always get the strange commentary in these videos, and the next one's even worse because it's got my voice.
It's all right because that doesn't actually get recorded by teams unless you share media, so they can't hear a thing.
So they don't hear the wind.
Is that you getting Ryan to do the audio?
Yeah, Ryan, you do the commentary over the top, so we can't hear it, and definitely the viewers today won't be able to hear it. So you're all right.
Okay, and then this one is the first Fia's petrel that I saw. Takes a bit to find.
Yeah.
And it's a bit grainy, but I mean this bird's 800 meters out, so it's still a pretty good.
It's amazing for each.
Gives you a fantastic idea of what it's like to see one of these in the field. Well, it's probably better than what it is because
you're probably shaking a bit less, but that was cracking one. So that was from the top of the cliff. The next 2 times I saw it, I was down. There's a bit. It's like in the cove. We call the infirmary for all the people that are lazy or too unfit to get to the top of the cliff. And they've been in with the Manxie line, which is, as I said, about 600 meters out. So, so that's what you've got to look forward to if you ever.
It's giving us the experience.
Yeah, I think next July we're recording from Ryan's front room, I believe.
from the sofa.
It should be
You
finished
haven't
by
got
then
that
as
comfort
well.
anymore, though, have you? Now you can't do it from the sofa anymore.
No.
Hence the move to Porthgwarra, which is like the comfort version of where you would have been birding from otherwise. I mean, would you have picked them up from where, if you'd been able to get access to the coast you had before? Would you actually pick this kind of stuff up, or is it a better, worse position?
It's slightly worse. I think they come in nearer Porthgwarra. So I have seen Wilson's Petrel and Corey's and Great from
Stuff.
the other spot. I haven't really been there early morning when the Fairs has been going past to see, but like Mike McKee used to do Tatadoo, which is the other side of my patch, and he has seen, but he doesn't. He said he hasn't seen as much, and then he had similar problems. Access started getting harder, so he decided it's just as easy to go to Porthgwarra. So
that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
So it's been July and August just flowing past because of this. When everyone says the doldrums, we're all sat here going, "What?"
Yeah, there's been some spectacular movements, and this probably it tops them all off, I think, in July and August. I think one question, you've just come back from the Falklands, where there's been many videos of insane numbers of seabirds. Is it a bit like, I mean, I've been to Guazin Falls and that Argentina-Brazil border, and every waterfall you see since just doesn't compare. How does this compare, I guess, this experience to the Falklands experiences you've been posting over the last year or two?
I think it's context, isn't it? And I just enjoy watching large numbers of birds moving. So I don't it matters what they are, really. I enjoy the evenings. Evenings are absolutely amazing in Porthgwarra, because all the Manxies are going past. And I went there one stormy evening about 2 weeks ago, and it was something like 600 to 700 a minute for going past, just streaming through. It's only people say it's only Manx shearwater, but that was just it reminded me being in Falklands watching sooties going through that thing, and I think it's the spectacle I enjoy as much as anything, and the challenge. So obviously there's no albatross, and it's not quite as exciting.
Yeah. That's excellent.
There's still a couple of months for that.
Yeah, September predictions coming up
so
at the end of the year.
There's not multiple species of that albatross and things, but it's you've still got the same thrill and challenge.
So what haven't you added of all the normal sea watching fare down there yet, or have you got pretty much everything? It's sort of leeches, petrels, or have you got sabsgull yet?
So I've had 3 sabsgulls. Porthgwarra's not very good for sabs compared to Pendeen. Pendeen gets a lot more.
Not that good.
But it's been an incredible year for sabsgulls. I think they've been getting more than normal at Pendeen. I still haven't made it over there. I'm too lazy to drive 30 minutes.
Yeah.
To go there when I can just be at Porthgwarra in a couple of minutes. So yeah. Leeches petrel. That's probably about it. I think I am going to struggle. It's going to have to be
Phalaropes?
Oh no, grey phalarope I haven't yet. No, I don't think there's been one off Porthgwarra yet. So there's a couple.
Still a couple of bits to go at, and then obviously you've got brown booby, red-footed booby, South Polar skewer, and all those tropic bird and all those other things that are pretty much guaranteed for you over the next couple of weeks.
I mean, there's been so few great skewers. Every single one of them gets properly grilled.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But I think the most I've seen in a day is 3. I don't think I've probably seen 10 great skewers this year off Porthgwarra. So.
It's incredible. Like I'm sure everyone who's sea watching is having the same experience. But for me, on my patch, it's usually 50-50, or was 50-50 greats and Arctics, more or less.
Yeah,
and sort of greats had overtaken Arctic skewers, and I must have had, I don't know, 30 or 40 Arctic skewers over the last month, which I know isn't any great number, but I've had precisely 0 great skewers, and I've had a couple of long tails. So that's kind of it all seems a bit out of whack, and it's really worrying. Obviously.
I think it sounds like it's the same in Norfolk as well. They've been getting like counts of 60, 70 Arctic, and someone was asking me, well, we were just chatting about it and wondering, his great skewer can affect Arctic skewer numbers.
Yeah. Well, it has very much suppressed them, hasn't it?
With the great skewers falling away, is this going to mean there's going to be a boom in Arctic skewers? So it's not just we're seeing the same amount of arctic skewers. We're actually seeing more because they're being more productive.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's definitely because obviously productivity's been absolutely shocking in Arctic skewers for years. You know, and they're a long-lived species, but not that long-lived. So anyway,
yes.
We
Enough
said
about
we were
sea
going to keep.
watching.
Yeah, enough about sea. We said we were going to keep this brief, and
We did.
Ryan's
It's
proved to be
Ryan's moment
interesting.
Ryan's moment to shine, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's downhill from now. American
Right.
warblers and waders, maybe.
Right. Is that visible again, chaps?
It is indeed, yeah.
Excellent. Right, let's skip on through.
All right, and then just a few more. There weren't many in July, but again, Mark makes the list as well with this Caspian turn. I did kind of reply to him when he put that out on Twitter to say that he might make the highlights. So I felt it'd be rude not to, especially after missing that Sparrow. Phil should mention that again.
Yeah, yeah, Sparrow.
So,
that must still hurt.
Yeah, we won't talk about that. We've said we wouldn't talk about that. So a couple of Caspian turns there, James Brown as well at Braden Water. And I've put Corrie's there, just a couple of kind of inland birds here as well that were decent of note in July. Corrie's getting itself up 7 Beach Way for Paul Bowerman. And Night Heron, there's been a lot around at the moment, but it's a bit of a county mega down at Artmore.
Yeah.
So again, a nice inland find in July.
Good birds. Good birds. I mean, I know. Sorry, Brian, you go.
I was just going to say, I wonder how many night herons are hiding inland somewhere this summer.
Must be a lot.
Yeah.
Then James, do you want to relive your moment again?
No, not really. It flew past my window. We've done this. This is the third month. I can't string it out anymore. Yeah. But I think more relevantly, Paul Bowerman's record. I used to do a lot of work on the Severn Estuary, and the apocryphal was Corey Shearwater's coming in on these big westerly wrecks of manxes and then disappearing off over the fields. This is sort of at Bridgewater. I was talking to a couple of the OG Patchwork Challenge people, and yeah, so there are a few records of that sort of ilk. So to get one off of Severn Bridge, I know that they get quite a lot of seabirds off there. They had that funny storm petrel, the white-bellied, black-bellied, unidentified storm petrel a few years ago. But that's a great record, all the way up at the bridge. So fantastic for Paul. Right, and then more expected summer fare.
So more expected, and some typical people that get into it most months. So Steve Dudley up there in Westray puts a lot of effort in on his patch, and this is obviously the lock that he sees from his house, which had a nice long-billed derricher, and Jacob Spinks at Spurn. Turned out that Pacific Golden Plover, which Martin Stanley's nice picture there. No picture from Jacob, but
I think there were a couple of PGPs at Spurn over the last so it's been a pretty good summer for them on the East Coast. Oh,
that takes us on to the first mini leagues.
We haven't actually discussed who's going to do these.
We haven't. Ryan, do you want to go on first?
Oh, yeah. Ryan, you go first.
Yeah, I hope it's not a Dutch leagues.
No, that's third, always.
So the Estuarine 10-kilometer league, there's no highlights, and Irene Boston is still running away with it, 178 points. Second and third, a bit closer, 153, 151 for Adam Day and Joe Tragan. Hope I got that right. And this is a 3K Estuarine League. Paul Bowerman, as we spoke about, the Corries, Manx, Stormy, Black Heron. That's pretty good. And he's running away with it, 219 points, with Stuart Derbyshire, 188. And then looking down at other highlights, Johnny Rankin, who's he?
No
Crane,
idea.
Spoonbill, and Barn Owl, and a spot red shank for John Conlon Home as well. So
I've not done a record shot competition this time round, but Johnny Rankin's Barn Owl could easily have made the shortlist.
Was it not a spectacular capture then?
It wasn't. It might not have won the competition, but it would have certainly been a podium spot.
I did notice that he's just listed local breeding birds there.
Yes. Yeah. But we won't mention that now.
No.
No other highlights in Estuarine. Toby Collett in Frampton seems to be. I think he needs to update his scores.
Oh, yeah, that must be out of date. I mean, he's got that many points in wages today.
I think he's probably got 307 now. But yes.
I mean, if you found one of those stilts that bred the baby stilts, he'd have got bonus points just for seeing him come out of the egg, wouldn't
he? That's a good point. That would be that would be a debating point, wouldn't it?
He sold the egg first. Right. And now we're on to Coastal East England 10K. Nigel Lound is winning. That's a nice close one though, with James Brown only 9 points behind. As we said earlier, he had Caspian Turn. Someone else had Caspian Turn at Saltfleet B, Bedlethorpe. Does anyone know where that is?
Yeah, that's Lincolnshire Coast.
I've done him out of the highlights, so apologies to Owen Beaumont. I've done him out the highlights, putting the other two in.
Yeah, so he's had a nice one. No other highlights though, but the top four looks like they'll be battling it out for the rest of the year. And then Coastal East England, the real leagues, unsurprisingly, Spurn, 332 points. Wow, that's
monster score, isn't it?
I mean, what's the record score in this? About 405. I think Tim
just
Jones got
400.
about 405, didn't he, in 2016? That mega autumn.
With a good autumn and a fair wind, Jacob could beat that.
Yeah. So yeah, so you've got those, and then after the two Spurn, you've got two Norfolk patches, level pegging and 274, and then another Spurn, well, Kilnsea, pretty much the same, 257, and then Lincolnshire finally make up 253. So it's been it's some impressive scores there. Just have a look at the highlights. Pacific Goldie, which we mentioned, Blackwing Kite, which we mentioned. Hex Sand has been found.
Can't believe you've missed the Baltic goal off as well.
Yeah. Black goal.
We'll make up for that next month.
And a few other nice ones. Honey Buzzard, Roseate Turn, the usual summer fare. So.
Yeah, I mean, Daniel Langston has some really good
rounds up at Bournemouth. Any other highlights? Medgull, Yellowleg.
I forgot to update my score this month.
How are they highlights? Medgull.
Because, wow. Yeah, they're
Shall I tell you I think my peak count at Hemsby in a day was something like 1,700 in a day.
Yeah, but they love those pig fields at Hemsby, don't they?
No, they were sat in the sea outside my house.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
You are having a very good year, though, James.
Going all right for my patch. I'm going all right. Just beating my 2013 score, so I'm very happy with that.
Yeah.
But got a little way to go to beat my best, so we'll see how we get on.
But Bempton Cliffs in this page seem to be the best, with Spoonbill, Caspian Gull, Marsh Warbler, Wood Warbler. It's a nice mixture of birds there for July, especially.
Yeah.
Right, and then finally, there are no other highlights for Coastal East England, so we can move on. And Coastal Ireland, Daniel Newton. Wow, he had a kitty week.
I think it's just good that he's back on site after his patch got closed. Yeah, so
bird flu.
Yeah, I think he's had a few bits and pieces this month, so hopefully we hear about those in the next update. But yeah,
excellent. Right, and Coastal Scotland 10K. It's quite a close league actually.
It's a nice one.
No highlights though. So Julian Smith, you're still winning. And then the real Coastal Scotland. Oh my word!
So is this Mark not updating his score for ages?
Yeah. So now
he's leapt from the bottom almost to the top, hasn't he?
And how's he overtaken Andrew Whitehouse when Andrew finds all the birds?
Because Andrew didn't find the sparrow, just saw it. But Mark found the Caspian Tern that no one else saw.
That's how you get to the top.
Yes.
Anyway, Julian Smith and Case Ness is up at 1 mega ahead of Mark. Then is Caspian Tern. Only other highlights: wood sandpiper, yellow wagtail, a bit quiet for Scotland. Coastal South England, 10k. Amy Rob Jones is running away with it, but no highlights.
Very static.
And then Bob Ford in Weymouth is next, and then it's Chris Townend. He had a good start. I know he's been away a lot of this summer, but I've got a funny feeling he might not have updated either. I'll chase him.
Come on, Chris.
But no highlights. No highlights in South England.
He's going to feel really bad if he has updated.
Well, who's this shocker at the top of this one? Miles away.
Yeah.
I was nowhere near the top.
Points, right?
I know, that's... And I predicted I'd get like 240, I think. So
Faye's Petrol doesn't even make your highlights.
That is August. My first one was
okay.
like second. I've had 3 this month. So
Oh my God.
I mean, that points per bird. That points per bird is almost kind of John Bowler territory, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'm up to 293, and I think it's 1.85 for the year for points per bird.
Is that the high? No, because span must be. Yeah, it must be up there with the sort of span ratios though.
It's normally the island ratios where there's like 1
Yeah.
or 2 birds on an island, like John at Tyree, and then you'll have the 2 at Westray. Papa Westray will have good.
And I think it is similar because there's so many 1-point birds that I just don't get down here. You know, so I think that helps.
Yeah.
Just common birds that are quite hard here. So I'm missing quite a lot of those.
Let's get the world's smallest violin out and just play the world's saddest song for Ryan.
There's going to be no sympathy in this update, is there?
Anyway, so I'm winning, which is a shame. Steve Waite, who had a great start to the year. I think he'll be hoping for autumn to kick in. Joe Stockwell still hasn't updated. He's been on 191 since about March.
Come on, Joe.
So and then Amy's there. And any other highlights? The highlights from Tim Jones at Bull Point, Storm Petrel, Bongsy, Arctic Skewett, and Billy Eric Shearwater. Someone else who's been enjoying some sea watching.
Yeah, I think he's quite well placed up there in North Devon, isn't he? I don't know Bull Point.
Yeah, I don't know it.
Barnstable Way or something? I don't know. Oh, well.
The north.
Yeah, somewhere up there. Right.
And then no other highlights for coastal South England.
Yeah, limited movement
there. Next.
There we go.
Oh, all done.
It's a bit of patch gold.
Yeah, you are relieved, Brian.
Yes.
So just a little bit of patch gold this month, not too much. But we saw in the highlights earlier on Bempton, a tree creeper, first since October 2020. So not an expected bird in that terrain.
So give it a bit of context for me as well. So in Hemsby, I think I saw 3 tree creepers in 8 or 9 years.
Oh, crikey.
The second one I saw was exactly the same time as I found red flank bluetail. And I was sitting there with Tim Allwood. And as we were waiting for the bluetail to come back out, the tree creeper came, and I was going, tree creeper, and he just looked at me as though I was going absolutely nuts.
Was it frosty though?
No, I thought that's what I was looking at as well. But it was only the second one I'd seen in Hemsby. I was like, wow, this is great.
That's quite cool.
What Patchwork challenged us to, isn't it?
Absolutely. We've got a couple of common scoters there.
Nice, just an unusual one. Venus Pool, long way inland. And then stock dove. We tend to have either a pigeon, dove, or some sort of feature in this at most months.
I was going to say, if it's not that, it's a tit or a magpie, isn't it?
Absolutely. First documented island record though up at Papa Westray. So
that feels like
could have been a court of appeal.
That feels like a court of appeal job. But I mean, he gets enough points as it is. But
I don't think we have much sympathy. But we do see now and again though these kind of, the first one I've had in so and so or the county, etc., and they don't put anything in.
Well, it's their own fault.
There's extra points available. And there was also another tree creeper. I think it's an unusual spot in Scotland up at Uist, I think, which isn't on this slide. I couldn't find a reference to it, but I think they've picked it up in the Scottish Leagues later. Which is again another unusual spot on the island up there.
Yeah. Oh, maybe a bit of post-breeding dispersal type stuff. Okay. Shall I do this one then? And you can,
go on then. I'll
get the Dutch.
To be fair, I've not done that yet, so I'll.
Okay, cool. So we're on to the harder stuff. We're going to Coastal Wales. Dave Astin's at the GAN, still top. I think there's been relatively limited movement here. Pete Howlett at Cardiff Bay, second on 129, and Alex Jones under 126. But congratulations to Annie Irving, finding a juvenile goshawk on her patch at Cosmoston, which is a long-awaited lifer. And then Coastal Wales 10K in Abergele. Matt Bower is still on 134 points, and again, he's not that far away from Mark at either of Mark's patches, but hopefully a bit of competition as we head into the autumn. Coastal West England, Jane Turner had a Storm Petrel. This one's very static as well, but she's on 122 species and 159 points. Sean O'Hara remains in second. All from the garden, yeah, and it's pretty well located, but yeah. Sean O'Hara in second on 124 points, and Stephen Dunstan in third on 86 at Blackpool. Okay, in 10K League, Pierre hasn't updated in months, so he's winning, losing, and in the middle. Inland North 10K, Toby Holmes at Redmars is on 138 points, 121 species, so that's pretty decent. Joe Woods at Wakefield on 121 points, and who's this lad? Peter Williams at Lockton on 98 points.
That's what happens if you get in a 10K league. You've got a chance.
Woo woo!
And I've not even updated this month.
Well done, Pete. And then Dave Locke has had a green shank and a rough on the River Tyne at Bladen. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's pretty good. First patch record since 2021. Very good. Inland North, this is where it all happens, apparently, but probably not in July. Duncan by 145 points, 145 species, 179 points. Just pipping Richard Scott, who's 3 points behind. Mark Langston in Old Moor is on 173 points. So those top three are all very, very close. It's going to be interesting going into the autumn. And John Law's just in touch too. In terms of highlights, Little Ring Plover, Red Start, Green Woodpecker, and Hobby. Oh, well, just skip over that one.
I had a Hobby yesterday on my patch, so that'll go into my August update.
It's pretty limited stuff. So Inland North second. We've got some guy called Sean Sweeney. He's found a Hobby, a Mandarin, and Little Ring Plover. I believe it's no longer Mickleton Valley. I believe it's now called Sweeney Wetlands. Then, yeah, you better believe it. And then in 25th place, Paul Brady's had a honey buzzard over. So that's proper good stuff. And at the bottom end there, a little bit of movement. I know I had to change the table, but not a lot of highlights. Inland Scotland 10K, no updates, so everything's the same. Inland Scotland, the normal stuff, and Luke Wake's top on 134 points. Zul Batia is in second on 121 at Loch Winnock, and Chris Pendlebury's in third on 105. So pretty low scores. So a good run for one person could get them right into it this month or into September. Alex Ash is in fourth. A couple of 2-pointers for Lee Hesp down at Strathire with Osprey and Grasshopper Warbler. Sorry for pronouncing that wrong. And then we're into something different.
So just a couple of slides here, because we didn't have too much of things to Court of Appeal, etc., and things like that this month. So did a little troll for things in July when it's going quiet. I think it's fair
talking of little trolls. Ah, dear. So there's Mark with a soggy tenner, which I'm sure he spent in the cafe not long after finding it.
He's even asked for it to be found in the month, which actually, to be fair, it's not far off. Given a lot of those highlights earlier on weren't fines, but
I think this
you can still keep
his
it
tenner.
Right. And then this is Ian Bennell, who, curious to how many points he would have got had he actually have seen them earlier in the week. Unfortunately, I think he missed the occasion.
Yeah, so this is Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman filming the
Deadpool,
new
I think.
Well, I think it's the new X-Men movie. Yeah, you've got to know your Marvel stuff, haven't you? Not Marvel, DC, whatever it is. Who cares?
We obviously
I
don't.
obviously don't.
But I think it's kind of quite good. Maybe it's a different subject of its own in terms of if anything unusual is happening on your patch that's totally left field.
Well, I did see some bird guides going hard at tweets. Some of the best bits of bird guides.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
Yeah, so I can't remember who tweeted it, but
It was Johnny, wasn't it?
yeah, so Catherine Zeta-Jones flushing little goals at South Landing when she was filming Dad's Army.
Yeah.
I think that's the most relatable thing to this I can remember.
I thought, yeah, that's a quality. He's been keeping it, hasn't he, for a while?
Yeah, that's outrageous. Very good, very good.
But yeah, last year on my patch, I had Tom Cruise and Haley Atwell filming Mission Impossible.
Oh, you did, didn't you? Yeah, I remember.
Just a mile away from the house.
Saw a picture of you towering over Tom Cruise.
Yeah, short as he looks. But interestingly, he stood about 3 or 4 meters behind people, so it made him look tall.
Yeah, scumbag. There you go then. Mini League Session 3, over to you.
Okay, wish me luck.
There you go.
Inland South, 10K League. So not much change at the top there, but Hugh Venables at North Stowe, he was on the highlights last month with the number of very, very good birds on patch at 239 points, which for an inland site is very good indeed. Marriott Walford's had a black-red start, and Sedge Warbler, the only new bird in July at charge for Dave Hallier. And then no highlights at the bottom of that league. Inland South, so this will be the 3K league. So Drew Linus, Honey Buzzards, and then finding some juvie long-eared owls. Some nice pictures of those posing nicely on his Twitter feed at the moment. Steve Atkinson at Miltame had a Gargany, and Peter Softly at Lady Walks had the Night Heron and a Wind Chat. And then Conor McKenzie, we saw him earlier with the Night Heron as well, but also Great White Egret and Ruddy Shelduck. And then finally at Lake and Heath, Golden Oriole, rare bird on patch these days down at
That's a shocker, that is really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big change, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then Ian Bennell, we've already mentioned dipping Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman in Deadpool 3, apparently.
Oh, yeah. You were right. I was wrong.
Not through knowledge. I think I'd read his tweet at some point. But a patch tick Wind Chat, which I think well outdoes Deadpool 3. But that's just my view.
Fair enough.
Inland South continued, one of the biggest of our leagues. So no major changes there, but Mandarin at Bircher Common for David Allen. I think he did have that down as a patch gold. Patch orange or patch multiple colours.
Patch Mandarin?
Had a few Mandarins this year.
Yeah. No. Anyway, that obviously fell on deaf ears.
It did. I'm sure when people view it back, it
yeah.
Well.
Oh, just underrated. There you go.
Inland South. So hobby again. Everybody loves a hobby. Me especially at the moment.
Still only 1 point though, because there's millions of them.
I know. Yeah. Sort of appeal.
Yeah.
And then no changes at the bottom of the league. Inland Wales, 10-kilometre league. Johnny Price, first, middle, and bottom.
Same score.
Yeah. And Inland Wales, the 3-kilometre league. So you got the 3 patches here. Mark Hughes still at the top, with Sean Sweeney with Siskin Peregrine and Hobby added in July. And then we've got the Islands League at 10k. So these are some of the big hitters. Vincent Stork still at the top at Texel with 286 points. John Bowler at Tyree, he should have a good couple of months coming up, I'm sure. 258 points. Medgal's highlight there, but second of the year, so nothing to add to the points score. And then Steve Dudley, we talked about his long-billed Dorritshire, but otherwise a pretty unmemorable month, which I think is a bit of a theme for most in terms of adding any points to scores. And then some big hitters underneath there as well. Islands League, 3K League. So David up at Papa Westray, leading the way, 2 Honeybuzz together. The first island record of Stock Duff, which we've already seen. John Bowler second with the Arctic Skewer, the only edition for July. Again, Steve Dudley, no additions for the core 3 kilometre patch. But Matt Bruce had an orca from the house, which is always got to be a bonus. And Marsh Warblers singing All Around Me. So we shall leave that to the imagination. And then I talked about the patch called Tree Creeper earlier on Southeast for Ian Thompson and Yvonne Benting. So both of them picked that Tree Creeper up to the 8th record for the island.
Do you think one of them did the update for the both of them there?
It's the exact same wording, isn't it?
So... Copy, paste. There we go.
Looks suspect.
Yeah.
And then no changes to the bottom of the league there. So on to the Dutch League. So Rob is still topping it, topping 300 points and 200 species at the moment, which is phenomenal. That's for the 10K league. Arnold still a long way behind, but they do rack up some brilliant species on there from their Twitter feeds. So yeah, no changes otherwise. And then this is the combined Dutch, Belgian and German league, 3 kilometre league. So you've got Ben there still at the top on 211 points, and quite a gap there to the others with Jan and Rob on 159 and 158 respectively. So quite an epic battle going on for second and third. But with a really, really good point, a lot more species for Rob actually. But Jan's obviously doing really well on picking up either bonus points or rarer species.
I think because he's in Germany, some of the species get more points because it's the Netherlands. Netherlands spreadsheet. We haven't got a standalone German one, so maybe benefits a little bit from that. But
we need to add Germany to the mini league as well.
Yeah. So well navigated on the names, by the way, by just not saying any of them.
Clever, isn't it?
Do you want to continue with the top 10s?
Yeah, can do. So this is the top 10s. So who's where? Overall top 10 for the big 10 kilometre leagues. So Rob, once again, talked about him already, topping 300 points. Phenomenal scoring in 200 species, and he tops it by quite a long way with Vincent at Texel, who we had on previously, doing really well at 286 as well. But what a phenomenal performance from Nigel Lowndes so far at Gibraltar Point on 272 and in third place there on 10 kilometre league. Doing an amazing job. Green top 10, so without any kind of motorised transport. So Jacob, who pretty much lives there, so can walk everywhere at 332 points. We talked already that he might potentially hit the record. It's in distance. And Rob Hunter just behind him. So the 2 Spurn big hitters at the top, and David at Papa Westray. So that's some great birds this year in third place.
Yeah.
Finally, the overall Spurn at the top 2 and David at Papa Westray is very similar to what we've just seen. Tim Hodge at Horsey with that Blackwing Kite has joint 274 points, so joint with Trevor Gurning in 4th and 5th. And I'm not even going to mention 6th.
No.
Although, Ryan, it is worth pointing out you are in the top 10 now.
Yeah, I think I finished 9th once at Hemsby. So
was that 2013 when we had 12 competitors, or was that?
I think it was something like that.
when it was Mark was 11th and I was 12th.
Yeah, I've got a feeling I'll drop down quite quickly.
Yeah,
I
think. I mean, you could get some great birds down there, but in terms of the numbers, the chances are that all those other patches are gonna outstrip you in terms of amount of decent migrants, decent vagrants.
Well, you take away Papa Westray in that league there, and you see everyone else is 30 or 40, 50 species ahead.
Yeah. It's all those 1-pointers that you don't get that we're really sad about.
It's depressing, I tell you.
You'll be praying for no easterly winds all autumn.
Yeah. just westerlies when he finds that American red star and Tennessee warbler double on his patch.
Exactly. Yeah,
but
we're getting
the strange thing is, this in August, because it's my first year here properly patching, I've things in southwesterlies and northwesterlies. We're getting pied flycatchers, spotted flycatchers turning up, and I presume these are just British breeders coming down the west coast rather than ones that would like filtering through from the east coast down. So it doesn't seem to really matter what the wind's doing here. things are still turning up. You just have to
Keep going.
basically you kind of need a change. If the wind changes or drops, it seems to bring in a fall. So as you can see from Nanjizzle, which I can see the valley. You know, Kester,
Yeah.
Wilson, Rings. I can see that valley from my patch in the distance, and he gets. I'll do walk my patch and I'll see 20 chiff chaffs. Like, oh, it's been a bit of a fall, and he'll go and ring 200 sedge warblers, but I don't see any. It's strange. But it
So
shows how many birds that move through.
what you're saying is you need a ringing license.
And friendly landowners that'll let me just cut through all the wet willow areas that are all over my patch. If I could get into those, it would just be.
Yeah. Well, best of luck with that, but not for the competition.
Yeah, you can finish 11th. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be ideal.
So there's a bit of PwC predictions. So I guess what's going to turn up in September, and I guess for your own patches and just generally what mega might turn up. And I've not given it much thought, I'll be honest.
Well, I think the obvious one this month is Cliff Swallow, because it's really easy to say that because there are millions of them up in Iceland. So
the jet stream's whipped up north into Iceland, doesn't it? From
I think
it's like shifted it.
Unprecedented numbers in Newfoundland and southern Greenland, and like flock of 7 in Iceland today, and 13 birds in total or something. So we're recording, for those that are watching, we're recording on the 31st of August. So hopefully this one comes in tomorrow.
Yeah, it's
today,
going
as
to
you
be
watch
Westray,
it.
Papa Westray, Tyree. It's going to be Scottish
Yeah.
Island, isn't it?
West Cornwall. That's where it's going to be.
Is that right?
Someone believed there was 2 in West Cornwall yesterday.
Yeah, someone was showing us their cheeky pictures from the Falklands when they found them. I am a very gullible man. And Ryan is a very bad liar.
Thank good God, liar, obviously.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm just pretty gullible. But yeah, I think Cliff Swallow is going to be, everyone's who has hirundines migrating through their patch. If you've got regular runner hirundines, get checking those over the next week or so, because it's going to be interesting. Someone's going to score pretty big, I would have thought.
They're everywhere down here at the moment. Just hundreds of them.
Yeah. In terms
what's
of
my prediction?
Yeah.
So that's your is that your patch prediction or your UK
yeah,
prediction?
let's go big. Yeah. I get plenty of swallows and martins going through. Yeah, let's go big. Let's say
Nafferton cars.
No,
what's your
absolutely.
UK prediction then?
Yeah. UK prediction, I think Black Cat Petrel.
Porthgwarra.
Yeah, I said Black Cat Petrel last month, though. I can't go Black Cat Petrel 2 months in a row and be wrong too. I mean, I can be wrong 2 months in a row, but I can't say the same thing. Let's say Ascension Frigate Bird.
Yeah, I have to read up on my Frigate Bird ID.
But you've got to be on Isla to get Ascension Frigate Bird, because they've both been.
Or either.
Yeah, or either. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes. So I'll probably for patch go Seabird, because should I go Seabird? I was going to go Tropic Bird. That's what I'm aiming for. And then for national, Spurn is going to get Palace's Reed Bunting, because it's a tarts tick. So
yeah, it's overdue, that one. You don't even need it for Yorkshire, do you?
No. So yeah, I've got one has to fall at some point. So I'm going for this
in September though. That's a bold shout.
Why? It's all one in June. So
yeah,
never predicted that.
No, if it's going to happen in spring, it's going to happen in June. If it's going to happen in autumn, it's probably going to be late October, early November, isn't it?
I'm going for late September.
Okay.
I'm going big.
You are going
just because I haven't thought about
it. Committed, doubled down.
Yeah.
Like a Tory politician or a Spanish football administrator.
Sorry. What's your predictions then, Pete?
I don't know, nationally. I've not thought that far ahead. But on patch, I think I just want to fill some of the stupid gaps. I've still got a few of them. And then I don't know, something like a booted warbler or something like that would be nice. Yeah, not just something nice and rare on patch. I've had quite a few scarce bits and bobs, but nothing earth shattering. It'd be nice to turn that up in the.
Give us your big earth shattering UK prediction. You can't sit on the fence. We've both had to make fools of ourselves.
Oh, I don't know, something American, because American, I think the weather charts and everything else, and the hurricanes, the 2 hurricanes going through America, pushing the jet stream up.
Yeah.
I think that airflow is going to turn something onto a Scottish island.
Is Purple Martin going to fall?
Yeah, Purple Martin, potentially, that kind of thing.
Nighthawk over St. Burrian, maybe.
Yeah. Cowpat.
So,
Over
it.
Yeah. I saw it flying, honest, Gov.
A lovely hooded warbler or something like that, maybe.
Oh, yeah, that'd be lovely.
So it's going to be something up on the Scottish Islands, a mega American turning up, either in John Bowler's garden or
St Kilda.
I mean, that just saying something mega and American turning up in John Bowler's garden is not a cutting edge prediction, mate.
It's pretty much 90%. Go on, I'll go hooded warbler turning up in John Bowler's garden.
All right. I like that. Right. Well, I think that's us, isn't it? Done and dusted.
Bang on the hour.
Well, yeah, ish.
With a bit of editing.
Yeah. Some very creative editing. Well, thanks very much, everybody. We will endeavour and fail to turn around the August update in a quicker fashion, but we'll try. We'll catch you next month.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.
All right.